Hi, friends, and welcome to Peace is Here. I'm your host, Avis Kalfsbeek. This is another episode in the Wolff Peace series, a journey through Robert Paul Wolff's 1966 anthology, Political Man and Social Man. In each episode, we pair one of the thinkers from Wolff's book with someone who lived peace as a radical daily practice. Together, they help us explore what peace really asks of us and of our societies. The Thinker, George Homans, 1910 to 1989. Today's thinker is George Homans, a foundational figure in American sociology and a pioneer in behavioral social theory. In the Western Electric Researches, Homans analyzed data from the famous Hawthorne experiments conducted at the Western Electric Company in the 1920s and 30s. These studies began as a test of how lighting and work conditions affected productivity, but researchers soon discovered something deeper. Workers were more influenced by the social dynamics of their group than by any physical change. Informal peer norms, not just managerial control, shaped how people behaved. Homans argued that people aren't just influenced by orders or rewards from above, they're shaped deeply by the expectations of the groups they belong to. He wrote, "If we wish to understand social behavior, we must understand the behavior of individuals." Even in large systems, he believed peace or dysfunction takes root in the micro-interactions between people, the praise, avoidance, mimicry, or small defiance that reinforce norms. It's a cautionary insight. When groups normalize cruelty or exclusion, individuals often go along, seeking safety over resistance. Peace Pairing, Sophie Delaunay, born 1966. To balance this behavioral realism, we turn to Sophie Delaunay, former executive director of Doctors Without Borders USA, a global peace builder who spent her life intervening where institutions failed. In conflict zones, refugee crises, and disease outbreaks, Delaunay helped lead one of the world's most respected humanitarian organizations. Her leadership was pragmatic, data-informed, and fierce, but always focused on dignity. Speaking about the organization's mission, she said, "There is no such thing as a neutral act when you're working in war zones. Everything you do or fail to do has political consequences, but if you're transparent and guided by humanity, you can still act justly." Her peace work was not abstract. It involved sleeping in tents in remote provinces, negotiating with warlords for patient access, and managing burnout across exhausted teams. Where Homans showed us how people conform to the behavior of those around them, Delaunay built systems where ethical behavior was the group norm, where decency became contagious, not silence. Your peace questions to ponder. Big picture. How do systems teach people to comply even when the result is harm? How could we design systems that teach people to care? Day-to-day life. What subtle behaviors do you reinforce in your workplace or friendships? Could you become the person who changes what the group values? That concludes this episode of Peace is Here. You can learn more at aviskalfsbeek.com, where I share updates on this podcast and my books. I write best friend activist short fiction in the Pedro the Water Dog Saves the Planet series, eco-adventure novellas for readers who care about justice, joy, and saving the world one story at a time. And I'd be grateful if you followed my Kickstarter campaign at aviskalfsbeek.com/Kickstarter. Coming up next, more thinkers, more peace pairings, and more bold questions from the Wolff Peace series. This episode is human narrated by me, but created with the help of AI, which has promised to let me know if it makes something up. So far, no confessions. But if you believe I've missed something, or if you just want to say hello, I'd love to hear from you. Podcast music is Dalai Lama Riding a Bike by Javier Peque Rodriguez. You'll find links to his music on Spotify and Bandcamp in the show notes. If you enjoyed this podcast, it really helps me if you subscribe on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen. A quick rating or review helps others discover peaceful, independent storytelling. And if you have a project that can use a calm, peaceful narrator, my cloned voice, Amaya Calm, is now available in the 11 Labs Voice Library. AMAYA Calm. The voice is designed to support storytelling that promotes peace and dignity. You can even have Amaya Calm read to you using the 11 Labs Reader app. She sounds like this. Peace is not something you wish for. It's something you make, something you do, something you are, and something you give away. John Lennon. If you haven't used 11 Labs yet, it helps me if you use the link in the show notes below. The link is try.11labs.io/peace, and 11 Labs is spelled out. I'll earn a small affiliate payment which supports my creative projects focused on peace. I'm Avis Kalfsbeek. Thank you again. Until next time, listen for the peace.